Now let's talk about Tong-il moo-doo. Tong-il moo-doo preps in Mombasa, happening this year, 2024 12th edition. And I'm joined by the president here, Mr. Mokio, Clarence Mokio. He has been at the forefront of everything about Tong-il moo-doo. Mokio,
yes.
Karibu sana.
So thank you very much.
It was nice to see you again. It's good to be here. It means like you brought us something new. The last time we were talking, there was issues with the government funding, and now is there hope?
I'm always hopeful, and we are doing everything possible to make sure that the event takes off in December. That's why I've come to in Nairobi, I think for the last 3 months or so.
3 months.
Yes.
You've been in Nairobi 3 months,
yes.
pushing and pushing and pushing. Where are we so far?
So far, we have good news. We managed to convince the world body, the World Tongil Moo-doo Federation, to accept our request to move the event to December. We had to weigh in on the options we had. One of them was, since the event did not receive funding in August and had to be cancelled at the last minute when we had foreigners already in the country, we requested the world body to move it to December. The other option we had was for us to forfeit the event and face penalties from the world body, heavy penalties, and the possibilities of Tongil moo-doo being banned in the country.
What does it mean to have players here already?
Yes.
Are you already sanctioned as we talk?
No, we very good books with the world body. As you know, I sit at the International World Tongil Moo-doo Federation Research Committee. That's the the highest level of officials for World Tongil Moo-doo Federation. So it is easier for me to give views about the state of affairs of Tongil moo-doo in Kenya, and be able to defend any technicalities we had. Of course, it was a tough move to make, to convince them to accept our request. However, of course, we've been given a chance to prove to the world that we can host the event. And from the World Tongil Moo-doo Federation side, we have more than 32 countries ready to come to Kenya, with over 300 foreigners coming to Mombasa in December. So it is upon us as Kenya Tongil Moo-doo Federation, the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Sports, to come through for us so that we don't embarrass the country again. Because we've had a very good run for the last 10 years. We had challenges in 2022, as you know, we didn't get funding. However, the process is still ongoing. And 2023, we got funding. We were able to successfully hold the event. So at least we were able to save face. But then August went as it went. But we are here again, pleading with the Ministry of Sports and the government to come through for us so that we have a successful event.
What's really changed now that you got funding in 2023,
yes,
we're in 2024,
yes,
that you can't get funding? Why is it difficult?
As I mentioned last time, we actually for the last couple of years we've been having this event. We've always been having challenges at the Department of Sports. Sadly, we have some sports officers who are not really committed towards the growth of sports. Of course, that is something which we've mentioned to the Cabinet Secretary and the Principal Secretary to look at, so that we have people who are passionate about sports. It's very difficult for any organization to rise up to the level Tongil moo-doo has done. And with the support from the Ministry of Sports, the media, you played a very big role towards putting Tongil moo-doo to the global space. And then, of course, our members and officials. We've really done a lot of work to get our sport to where it is, but there are so many forces who try to pull back federations which are perceived to be doing well. It's very unfortunate that sometimes even other sports disciplines will contribute towards pulling you back. But we are trying our best to make sure that we have an understanding with the Cabinet Secretary for Sports and the Principal Secretary so that they can be able to push this event back to its former glory.
How fast is the process of pushing this sport to the grassroots level to ensure that it's all over the country, people know it,
yes, yes,
and like now that is based on events only, that
yes,
we can see people coming in to participate in the event,
yes,
and Kenya going out to participate in so many events.
Yes.
So how fast-paced is the process?
Actually, for the last 3 years, we've done a lot of grassroots development of the sport. We have a very large pool of younger players from the primary school levels, high schools, and now colleges, and other special groups like the discipline forces. So on that front, we are doing very well. So far, Tongil moodoo is one of the fastest growing sports in the country, and we're seeing a very great future. We're not going to have any age gap as far as transition is concerned. And due to that fact, we also using the international championship to give the Tongil moodoo practitioners and upcoming practitioners an opportunity to see how great this sport is, how great they can be when they join us, and of course create opportunities for these young athletes to become players, and also to prepare the adult players to be future instructors, because we have a huge demand of Tongil moodoo in the continent. Currently we have present in 12 countries, and we have to feed instructors in the 54 countries in Africa, and everybody is looking at Kenya.
When you look at this is sports tourism.
Yes.
522 people
yes.
are expected in the country
yes.
by December.
Yes.
And they're supposed to be here for probably 1 week.
2 weeks, actually.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
To ensure that they are participating in this event, and also they're doing tourism
yes.
at the
yes.
same time.
Yes.
Is the government saying it that way? Because these people are coming in with money. They're bringing in money.
Yes.
And also they're enjoying themselves.
Yes.
They're participating in a sport.
Yes.
Is the government saying it that way? Because if it's saying it that way, there should not be a problem
yes,
of funding.
Yes. Unfortunately, some people don't see value of sports they don't understand. That's why I think we need an opportunity for sports federations to explain to sports officers, to the cabinet secretary and the principal secretary what this sport is all about. Some people have specialized in belittling sports they don't understand. That is something which has faced us. Unfortunately, sometimes back, a senior official asked me, Clarence, what value does Tongil moodoo bring to this country? And I was like, we've trained thousands of people since 1987 in this country. Some of these people are well trained. They have very good defensive capabilities, and they can be very aggressive. But we've been able to train them, give them self-discipline, help them in their education. Some of them are doing jobs in various parts of our country in different industries. And as a sport, really, any sport which is bringing our youth together is helping us avoid so many things like crime. We have a big problem of drug abuse in Mombasa, radicalization, early marriages for young girls, the big problem we're having now of gender-based violence and femicide. It's very unfortunate that these things can also be avoided by our young people training martial arts. Because if our ladies trained martial arts, probably the femicide levels will go low. Gender-based violence also. So even 2 weeks ago, we actually launched an all-ladies martial arts academy to be able to address the issue of training ladies, self-defense, leadership, and also be able to give them skills to protect themselves. We've seen that in other sports, other major sports. We've lost some very amazing, talented ladies due to this kind of violence. And we also want to embrace other sports so that we can be able to share our skills for them to be able to protect themselves. But Tongil moodoo is a great sport. We've done a lot of things to many young people in this country. We've had actually the longest run of annual international championships in this country for the last 11 years. There's no sport federation which has done that. Even in the Tongil moodoo calendar, when we were lobbying for Mombasa Open, we targeted sports tourism as well as developing the sport. So we wanted to use that platform to showcase the country to the world and be able to uplift the skills of our young people.
I wonder how difficult is this for people to understand, because the way you've explained it to me, I've understood.
Yes.
Why is it difficult for the government to understand, or the people who are supposed to fund this to understand the way you've just... It's something that should be modular. Anyway, one thing that I still ask myself every time, 12 editions now.
Yes.
For the last 3 years, are we going to see the 12th edition have new players, new key players, especially the young players who are coming up now? No, Tim Jasiri is also known for having the great players defending many titles. But are you going to have a new crop into this sport, especially for Team Kenya?
Yes, every year we are able to increase the number of players in the national team. Of course, the older players are also retired. And in this particular case, the fact that we've deeply gotten into schools, now we are going to have a higher number of younger players. Sometimes back someone said, oh, Clarence, Master Clarence, why is it that Tongil Moodoo Kenya wins everything? If Jeff, you've been following Tongil Moodoo for the last 12 years, and you know that we've had a very good run in terms of winnings, but since 2022, when we started having hiccups in terms of funding, the number of foreign participants went down. But you see, since we are hosting the event, our local players' numbers remain constant. So when you go for a competition and there are less foreign fighters or competitors, obviously when you go to the medal standing, we'll have to dominate because all these categories are not being filled in by foreigners. And that is the bad thing which has happened to the federation or the event, the Mombasa Open Tongil International Championship for the last 3 years. We had a very good upward trajectory even during COVID, but then immediately we go to 2022, it went down. The foreign numbers started going down, and we had a lot of convincing to do to get the numbers back up. Like last year's funding was also delayed, partly because of lack of coordination between the Department of Sports and the Cabinet Secretary's office. So the CS then came and rescued the event. In August, it was actually sabotaged by some sports officers and a few other people. And we also addressed that in a letter to the CS and the PS then. We hope they're going to address some of these things. But we hope this December we are not let down. And we are ready to do anything possible, including appealing to the President, to make sure that our game doesn't die. We've spent almost 40 years to build this sport, and the trend which is going on now is one which is meant to kill our sport totally.
So many people are asking this question, and I think it could be right for me to ask you. And maybe you might have the right answer than the one that I've given already. Why is it like it has to happen in Mombasa? Can it happen in Kisumu? Can it happen in Muhaya? Can it happen in Wajir?
I've gotten that question actually even from the CS's office, the PS's office, and a few other places. We picked up a model of Chicago Marathon, Boston Marathon, Berlin Marathon. We wanted to pick up a city which is known globally as an entry point into Kenya. So one purpose for Mombasa Open Tongil International Martial Arts Championship is one, training martial arts, because we have like 5 days of international martial arts training for all members of the federation in the country. The entry is limitless for everyone. Then second, we have 3 days of international competition for members of the national team, Jasiri, and the foreign teams. And then we also have 2 days of sightseeing, visiting tourist attraction sites. And of course, we also have a day for community service with all the participating countries. So we picked up a city and we've built the brand Mombasa Open. So far, Mombasa Open Tongil International Martial Arts Championship is the most popular Tongil International Championship. And despite the...
That's why the numbers are increasing every year. They're coming in the numbers every year.
Yes, and despite the fact that the event was cancelled unceremoniously in August, when we had team members from the United States of America, Nigeria, India, Turkey, Burkina Faso, and Japan, we've still been able to pull interest from more than 550 participants. We are getting passports from delegates from different countries by the minute. I believe by the end of the day, we're going to have more than 600 delegates ready to come to this country. So we've still been able to attract that huge number of nations intending to come to compete here. So it's something which we've really done a lot of homework with my international network of martial artists and the track record of the international event in Kenya. It's really welcoming to the guests, and of course they love the country. They've gone to Savo, some to Masai Mara, Shimba Hills, and the historical sites like Fort Jesus. And the people are always feel like they want to visit Mombasa each year, which is good for us.
When talking about martial arts, so many people think like it's a male sport. They think so, and they believe like it has to be male. So how many ladies are participating for Kenya this time around?
Jasiri has about 30 ladies, led by the captain Salma Ali Abdallah, who actually is the one who launched the All Ladies Martial Arts Academy in Mombasa 2 weeks ago. and the assistant Lona Abiero. They're doing a very good job to nurture these young ladies. They're also actively involved in training many young ladies. And just recently, Salma Ali Abdallah and Lona Abiero and the captain of Jasiri, Elvis Malipe, were honored by the president during the Jamhuri Day celebration. They got the Heroes Award for the contribution they've done to the country through the sport. So ladies are well taken care of. We want to put more emphasis on our young ladies to come and train Tongil Moodoo and be able to train more people so that we are able to bring calm amongst our young people.
Even as we wind up,
Yes.
how much is this money that's it's so difficult to be given? How much is this funding? Like, is it in billions that the government is scared of funding this sport? Because you're putting millions in Harambee Stars, but you didn't qualify for the AFCON anyway.
Yeah. I'm very patriotic as far as Harambee Stars is concerned. I'm very patriotic. However, when we started this event in 2013, the cabinet secretary at that time, Dr. Hassan Wario, said, if your sport is performing well, I have no reason not to support you. And that is why we got where we are. We got a lot of support from Dr. Wario, also came Waziri Echesa, also Dr. Amina Mohamed also gave us a lot of support to get the sport to where it is. So now we really plead with the current Cabinet Secretary for Sport and the Principal Secretary to help us get to the next level. Tongil Moodoo is the most envied country in as far as Tongil Moodoo is concerned because of the many things we've done. We're the first country to award a honorary black belt to a sitting president. We are the first country to hold an international event continuously for 11 successful years. Of course, the world doesn't understand the kind of challenges we experience before an event is hosted, and that's not for them to know. We are able to hide our embarrassing moments, but we show the best to the world. So we want an opportunity to do that and make sure that we give the best image of the country. And we usually don't ask for so much. The budget of the international championship is to the tune of around 750 million, of which part of the support we get support from the world body of about 100 million shillings. The foreign teams take care of their budget of around 150 million. So we are actually looking for around 500 million, of which we've sent to the government a request for support towards that, and the private sector. And whatever support we've always been able to receive from the government and the private sector, we've been able to pull up a successful event. So we are hopeful that they'll support us this time.
Thank you so much, Clarence Makio, the president of Tongil Moodoo Federation. He says they need just like 500 million Kenya shillings. And the former president told us we lose 2 billion a day. So we can just maybe see something like we can do about that and ensure that this sport is supported, funded, and so that the country will be as well successful. And also we have sports economy. That's how you support it. Give money, bring more money back in. My name is Jeff Mogiri. Have a good afternoon and continue watching KTN.